Talo forever, guys. Welcome back to another episode here on our channel. It's great to have you guys back. Another episode of our Q&A with Samoan Farmer, which is the podcast edition of our channel. So it's great to have you guys back. Before we get started, just want to say a big thank you to everyone that has helped this channel grow. We've now passed 5,000 subscribers, very well on our way to 6,000. So we really appreciate everyone that has put the effort into growing this channel and how far we've made it. If you've noticed, I don't think you guys noticed, but we're actually at a different location now, and we're just at we're at a quarter-acre land that my wife and I own, that we purchased back in 2019. And we're just doing some cleaning works because it's been left for quite a while now. So I'm here with Pa'a and my older brother, and then we're just cleaning the area just because we've left it for quite a while and things are a bit overgrown here. Yeah, so this is a quarter-acre land that my wife and I own, and we're hoping to build on this sometime in the near future. It's situated in the main on here in Upolu, but towards the center, up in the mountains. So it's really nice and cool up here, and it's one of the reasons why we chose this location, because it's nice and cool. But yeah, guys, I think we're going to get started on the episode. I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share our channel. Let's get started. A few announcements. First announcement is we finally passed 5,000 subscribers. So really great achievement, guys. We're well on our way to 6,000. But if you remember in the previous podcast, we had just made it past 4,000 subscribers. So a really great achievement, and it's all because of you guys. So thank you for sharing, liking, and commenting, because it's helping our videos and our channel grow on YouTube. So really appreciate it from everyone here on the channel. Next announcement is this podcast is our 101st our 101st episode, our 101st video since we started this channel. So it's another monumental achievement. And you know, thinking back to the journey, you know, it's been quite hard, you know, trying to run a farm, you know, raise a family at the same time, posting out content consistently every week. So the fact that we've made it this far is a real blessing, and glory, all the glory goes back to God, because for the strength to actually help get to do most of these things. And also, guys, I really appreciate it, because if it wasn't for your comments and you guys watching, I wouldn't be able to make this. So really appreciate it, and thank you again, guys. And last on our announcements, so please excuse the noise, guys, because it is quite noisy. We've got the lawnmower going, so I'll try my best to you know, raise the volume a bit on how I speak. But just be mindful, guys, that you know, I've got work going on at the moment. So I thought I might as well get the chance to you know, record our podcast here. So, you know, kill two birds with one stone. But I just want to show you guys how everything's going at the moment, because you try to be innovative, just think outside of the box. This is our setup today for today's podcast. So it's some of the struggles here in Samoa being a content creator, but you got to think outside the box. So guys, I hope you really appreciate the effort that goes into making our videos. So that's why make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share our channel, because it's not easy, but you know, I love making it for you guys. So enjoy today's episode. First on today's questions from our community tabs, we've got John Hernandez, and John Hernandez is asking, would your crop yield be smaller or larger if you cleared the land without all of the dead foliage, and does the dead foliage help? Great question, John, and thank you for that. I'm not sure would the yield be bigger, but I do notice that you know, because we actually clear the land first, and the large tree and the foliage actually decomposes during that period. So usually the first crop won't yield that much, but when we do the second cycle of that same plot we cleared, which is about probably 10 to 12 months after since we first cut it, the yield is actually a lot larger. And we think the reason for that is because most of the foliage and the large trees and everything, you know, everything that we cut down has actually been broken down into more nutrients that can be available for the soil during that time. So that's why the yield is always better on the second cycle and not on the first. But that's what we've noticed. So that might contradict, I don't know, science or someone else's beliefs, but that's what we've noticed here on the farm. So after we cut it down, clear the land and we leave all the foliage there. But the problem, not the problem, but then we plant straight away. And usually that first cycle of planting and then harvest won't yield that much. But then when we come in for the second cycle, which is usually Samoan people call it koe polidi aku koanga. And that's because most of the foliage that has been chopped down and cleared actually decomposes into the soil, and then now there's more available nutrients for the taro or whatever you're planting. So great question, and thank you for that. Our next question from FS Bith. It's a large question, so I'll try and get through it as much as I can. Talofa bro, malo I'll tie with your channel. Thanks for the last Q&A, and I greatly enjoyed that. You're very welcome, and thank you for consistently posting large questions. No, but I appreciate it because it's really good. So he's got a couple of questions. First questions: what are your top 3 lessons you have learned in farming? So top 3 lessons. Let me have a think. So top 3 lessons I've learned on the farm. First one, and probably the main one, is sorting out your finances. Um, you know, because running it in a sort of running the farm in a sort of business way, in a business format, is actually quite difficult. I found it in the first year that it was really difficult, to monitor the money coming in and then the money going out. And every time we were dipping back into the savings for the farm, so it wasn't really a sustainable way to carry out the farm and the business. So what I've learned going into it now in in the business format is actually to really sort out your finances and really monitor where the money goes and how much money we're making and what are the major expenses, and is everything running efficiently to save costs as well. So I think that's one of the main thing for me that I learned in the farming, like in the business format I do now. And that's something that me and Uncle have discussed, because as I mentioned before, that me and Uncle are actually co-owning this farm, and that's because I rely on his farming knowledge, and what I bring in is a bit of marketing, a bit of modern ways and stuff, if you could say that. So we actually, me and Uncle thought, the better way to do this is to not actually go 50-50 on the farm, with the expenses and the revenue and the profits, but actually probably go maybe 40-40, and then the 20% is left in the business to sustain the operations for the next growth cycle. So we're just trying to iron out those finances, because those finances really hurt us, especially when we start on the next cycle. So it's actually, maybe we're looking at maybe 33, 33, a third each. But then, we're just trying to, um, you know, iron everything up, because of course in the first 2-3 years you're probably going to operate at a loss. But during that operation at a loss, you have to try your best to learn quickly, and not only learn quickly, but try and catch the trends that are occurring in your farm, especially with money management, time management, and all of that stuff. So um, going into it now, as me and Uncle are going into it, we've gained a lot more experience in how we're going to handle our money. So that's one of the top 3 lessons I've learned. Another lesson I've learned is that, especially with farming, it's not every week or every month is going to be good. There'll be problems along the way. I mean, lots and lots of problems. So just to be mindful that it's an up and down cycle during the time, and don't I mean, when I hit my lows during this farm, I try not to beat myself up about it, because I take it upon myself to actually see this thing grow in a sustainable way. So it's just being mindful, being mindful, and don't take it too hard on yourself during the lows. But once the highs come, it's like when it's high, but when it's low, it's really low. So that's another lesson I learned, is that there'll be a lot of up and down cycles during the growth cycle. And then, it's always to keep your head up and keep your chin up, and, take it on the chin and go along the way. So that's another lesson I've really learned during our plantations and our farming. And one more lesson. Let's try really digging deep for this one, because there's quite a lot of lessons I've learned. But I guess the third lesson would probably be to always think outside the box. That's something that's so I mentioned, like, with the highs and lows. During those lows, there's going to be a lot of problems, and sometimes they compound and pile up on you. So that's why I said, so don't beat yourself about it. Don't beat yourself up about it, but try and think outside the box when you do come into problems, because it requires a lot of innovation and creativity here at the farm, and sometimes things don't go as planned. So I think that was another important lesson for me. For example, so we wanted to plant again, and we had a labor shortage. Hardly anybody wants to do plantations, so it's always hard to find people. Um, then again, we thought we're going to go back to using our seasoned farmers, the elderly men, and have them help us, and we pay them, whether in money, whether in food, or whether in planting material. Just thinking outside the box a bit, because you're trying to grow it in a sustainable manner, and sometimes it's difficult. So having ideas floating around in your head, think outside a bit, and also it will really help. So I guess those are the main three lessons that I've learned here on the farm. If you guys see there in the three lessons, it's nothing about the taro, what type of taro, the soil. It's all to do with, like, you know not more like, it's all to do with, like, mental preparation, um, or non-physical things, because it actually requires a lot of that in order to get farming up and running, and in a way that will earn some profit, and some revenue for your family. So I guess that's why I picked those three as the top lessons I've learned, as opposed to what type of taro, because that can be learned quickly and can be forgotten quickly. But you have to have the right mindset and the right mentality to actually get these things going, and then to let it operate in a very sustainable and efficient way. So really, thank you for those questions, FS Beth. So we'll move on to the second bit of your question, because it's quite a large question. All right. In your village, can you start a tiny farmers only club, or a regular monthly meeting with a few farmers over kava, maybe, to share tricks and tips, experience with wise farmers? Example: this tiny network will help you all to share ways to work smarter to help each other out. Pool resources, buy supplies in bulk, and share the cost, etc. Example: ideas. Share transport to sell at the market to cut petrol costs. Learn cheaper natural ingredients for pest control, and join the Apia Export Facebook small business group to find buyers, such as Apia hotels, restaurants that need special veggies to start growing. Here, example: fancy lettuce, fresh herbs, sell to buyers, supermarkets, exporters for a high price, and ask Samoa Agriculture Planting Science Team what other easy veggies can yield you additional income. Um, Example: yeah, no doubt you would have thought of these ideas already. Cheering you on from Auckland, New Zealand. All the best. Keep it up, bro. Choo-hoo! All of us from V, Fiona Beth, and our Ainga from New Zealand. That was a really large question. But shout out to you guys. So really appreciate that question. But I guess the gist of your question is mainly at the top is, can we make like a farmers club, a farmers only club, where we share the knowledge, share the costs, share the ideas, and you know work together as a unit to help. to help not only ourselves but help our family and our community grow. And that's using that unit we can actually grow into actually attack other opportunities. So it's a really great question, and I appreciate it. But I think it can be done. I mean, I guess the reason why it's quite difficult is because, again, the majority of the farmers in my community, in our village, are actually quite old, and the majority of the time, they're mostly focused on just trying to support their family, and with the high cost of living, it's they're barely making ends meet as well. So, you know if I try to do something like that, they might think it's something that'll take time away from what they're actually trying to achieve. And being that I'm young, and the Samoan culture, fia poco over fia poco, so I don't want to come off as like someone that's trying to start something new in the village, but it's something that I did think about. So back when I started, oh, this was last year, when we were starting another growth cycle at our farm. I was thinking, we could actually pool in 3 or 4 additional farmers, and then we share with them all the planting materials, and then we'll go, they'll grow on a large scale, and then we'll try and source out a market. And then at that time, we'll all plant at 4 months, um, you know, in between, so that way, once we finish harvesting, those guys, the other farmer that we gave the planting material to, will be harvesting in the next month, and then so on. So as soon as we harvest, we plant. As soon as the next farmer harvests, they plant, and that'll ensure like a consistent supply of taro, but just between like the four of us, and we're able to sustain a international market. So that was something I was thinking of. Again, it's really difficult talking to people, um, and I don't want to um, be I don't want to come off as someone that's really fia poco and stuff. But I was just trying to think ahead, look at the broader picture of things, and also trying to ensure that once we do have a market, we're able to supply that market, and giving each of these farmers the opportunity to actually grow their farms in the way that that I vision it to be. So, again, it's difficult. So what I've opted to do right now is actually go along, pursue forward with Uncle, and set up a blueprint. So that's what we're trying to do now. Is so if we can lead by example, then the rest will follow, because it's hard to pull in all of other farmers which into this, and they might think that it's actually a loss rather than a gain, because they see it's just added time, waste of time and stuff. So I think me and Uncle are pursuing the path, that we're gonna do it ourselves, and set up a pathway and lay out the blueprint, and that blueprint can be used by anyone else. And that's part of the reason why we set up the channel as well, so that we can actually help out a larger community of farmers. So I guess that's what's in the works at the moment. You know, it is difficult, but I think what we're about to do is probably a lot better. So then that way, once we grow it, and once we show everyone how it's done, then they'll follow, and we can actually help out then. And if everyone's agreeing, by that time to join us in what we did, then that's totally fine, because that's the main goal. Because you want to not only, like, although you want to prosper, you also want to see others prosper, because if we prosper as a community, it'll actually make a larger impact. It actually change the lives of families, with a better income, provide more education for their children, better education, they can actually get a car or something like that. So it's just keeping mind of the broader picture of what we're trying to achieve here. But yeah, that was a really good question, and thank you for that. Really, really appreciate it. All right, our next question is from. Well, there's actually a few questions, so we'll try and get through to it. We'll try and get through it. Our next question is from LTMA underscore 275. Malu Safa, recent subscriber here, so he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 questions. So we'll try and get through them as quickly, but not quickly. We'll try and get through all these questions First question is, what is currently your next minor goal in farming, and what's the end one? It's a really, really good question, and I think my next minor goal is, so at the moment, we're actually trying to set up a pack house, a taro pack house. So we've got a donor um, who's actually contacted us and wants to work alongside and see if they could help with anything with the farm to provide funding for. So that's our next minor goal at the moment, is to set up our pack house. And with that pack house, we're going to hopefully offer the opportunity for farmers around the community to sell the taro, because the pack house is mainly for our taro, because we are planning to go international soon, international being regional. But yeah, so we're trying to set up the pack house soon, but again, it's proving difficult, just trying to get everything into the budget that the project wants. But that's our next minor goal. Our end goal for this is actually for the farm to be sustainable and running on itself. And that's all, that the part of the reason, I mean, that's my end goal, is to get the farm running so that it can operate on itself and I can move into another thing to help grow. So for example, I'm also building my website at the moment. I've got this channel. I've got a whole bunch of ideas, but I'm just trying to get the farm in a sustainable manner where I can just leave it to run on itself and then just earn money from there while I move into other stuff. So it's sort of like an entrepreneur thing, but it requires a lot of input in the initial stages, so that you can iron out everything, and smooth everything so that it's able to run on itself. So that's the end goal, is to get the farm up in a sustainable manner in which it can self-sustain itself while I move away and I start working on other projects. But thanks for that question. Apologies, guys. I've had to jump back in the car because we got a call from the Saffron project. The second disbursement of our items are now ready for pickup, so we're just on our way to pick them up now. But we can continue our podcast through this way. So just gonna move on to the next question, which is, what's the most challenging part in the business? Great question. So the most challenging part of the business so far has been finding workers. As you guys know, Samoa is a bit low on the labor force because the majority of them have moved to the seasonal employment scheme, where they work in New Zealand and Australia for a period of months. So it's actually quite difficult at the moment finding people to work to help us expand our farm, which is also the reason why we're taking it slow at the moment with expanding the farm, but just waiting on until we've got full-time employees, because at the moment it's only But and Uncle running the show, and if we're planning expansion works, it's really difficult, but it's a good thing because it allows us the opportunity to really look at some of the problems we're having, so we can get it done, so that get it sorted. So once we start once we get full-time employees and start going larger expansion works and production, we've ironed out most of that. So I guess that's the most challenging part at the moment, with running the business, the farming business. Sorry guys, the road is really bumpy here. But this is what it takes to be a content creator, a farmer. It's always busy, but you gotta push those episodes out. All right, so we'll move on to the next question. All right, so next question is, do you have any safety measures for bad weather? Get that right? Yep. Do you have any safety measures for bad weather? And that's a great question, because especially at the moment where cyclone season is coming up, so we will be experiencing a lot of bad weather. At the moment, we don't have any safety measures. As long as we can make it to the farm and back, that is the access road.
we'll still continue operations and stuff during bad weather. As you guys saw, there were times that we were planting tiapula in the rain, and then also we were harvesting during the rain. So there's really, farming is a 24/7 kind of job that you don't really have any plans for safety for safety during the bad weather. Just let me know if I answered that correctly, or did you want me to talk more about the types of safety measures that we have to do on the farm during bad weather. But for the most part, we don't have any safety measures. As long as we can access the farm, we can still pursue with our normal operations. Thank you for that, and that was a really good question. All right, next question. All right, so the next question is, how do you wind down at the end of a working day? How do you wind down at the end of a working day? It's a nice question because I try to give myself time to wind down every now and then, especially after a long day working. But the problem is I've got so much going on at the moment. There's really no time to wind down at the end of a working day. I've got a day job, so after the day job, I come hop on the internet, and then I go through some of my online stuff. For example, the YouTube channel, building the website, and also some other stuff. I've got like online projects. I've got I think you guys saw the advertisement we did for the Unit Trust of Samoa. So I've got a few companies who've wanted us to offer that services for them. So that's it's quite busy at the moment. So even though I get off work 5 o'clock every day, I still have to keep on working until like 12, 1, maybe even 2 in the morning. And there are no days off, and that's part of the reason why it's really hard trying to find time to wind down at the end of a working day. But when I do get the chance to wind down, it's mostly just to spend my time with the kids. Whatever they're doing, I'll just probably hop on and enjoy the day with them. Spend time with my wife, have a coffee. I hardly drink anymore, so I used to drink a lot of alcohol on the weekends, but for the past year now, it's been really alcohol free lately, and I think it's one of the benefits of giving your time, the majority of your time, to something more useful, such as trying to run a business, run a farm. I think it's a lot better use of my time now than what it was before, because before I used to wind down with a whole crate of Vailima and Taula, but not anymore. Not anymore. So I guess that's the only way I wind down now, is just a cup of coffee and spending more time with the family. But yeah, great question. Really, really like that question, because it's something you guys don't see, and it's something I don't share a lot, is because of the majority of the time I get off, I actually invest back into what I'm doing after work hours. But yeah, thank you for that question. Alright guys, so we're almost at the other agriculture store here in Samoa, Farm Supplies, to pick up our stuff. We've got our stuff. It's glyphosate, about 400 liters, this one, 20 liters, 400 liters. So 2 20 liters and 5 machetes. It's not bad. All right, so the last question from LTMA 275 is thoughts on genetically modified crops. So I guess that's along the lines of genetically modified organisms. but for crops commonly known as GMO. Look, I mean, you know, obviously they're trying. I'm aware that there may be some disadvantages of GMOs, but part of the reason why I know some people are in full support of GMOs, and is because you're basically trying to genetically alter the DNA of a crop for uh, a favorable trait. So, for example, if there is a if there is a favorable trait, so let's take tomatoes, right? Let's say we want the sweetness, we want our tomatoes to be a little bit more sweet, and we can go into the look at the DNA of the tomatoes and actually find the location of the gene which produces the sweetness of tomatoes, and actually alter that gene, giving the name, genetically modified, or they might call it GMO tomatoes. But see, that's one of the reasons why I do support it to some extent. But I like the fact that you can alter the genes of a plant or of a crop in order to get a favorable trait for the benefit of farmers and for consumption as well. But because, for example, it's not directly GMO, but during the taro leaf blight of Samoa, the Ministry of Agriculture went into a hardcore crossbreeding experiment. During those crossbreeding experiments, what they were trying to achieve was a taro, and the traits they were trying to achieve, or the favorable trait they wanted, was something that was resistance to blight. With crossbreeding, it takes a long time to achieve that favorable trait, whereas with GMO, you can actually achieve those, get that trait fairly quickly, and that's narrowing down the time it takes to produce a favorable crop with that favorable trait. One downside, I do think that might be a disadvantage. Well, I'm not sure. Is that when you alter a gene, there will be other ramifications to the plant. So obviously, when altering that, because there are so many processes that occur at the genetics level, the molecular level of a plant, altering a single gene might change the way something, like it might change. It might have a cascading effect on the other genes that might alter something that wasn't supposed to be affected. So GMO, the genetically modified organisms and crops, does require a lot of time to ensure that the gene that you alter in order to produce that favorable trait does not affect the other genes, and as well as the living of the plant. So that was a really good question, a really technical question, but I really like it. And yeah, guys.
Welcome back, guys. Thank you for staying tuned. It's been a lot of back and forth going on since the start of the podcast, but thank you guys for staying this far. So, this is a new segment in our podcast where I call it the Up to Speed segment. And in this segment, we discuss some of the news that's going on in Samoa at the moment, particularly news related to agriculture, and then where I can share my point of view on it and hopefully get yours. So, this is one of the newer segments that I've been planning on doing, and hopefully you guys will enjoy it. So the majority of our articles we'll be discussing today, I mean all of our articles will be from the Samoa Observer. So if you do want to check them out in full detail, please make sure to check them out on the website. But we'll just go into the gist of what the article is about, and maybe show
and get my point of view on it. And then probably if you guys want to share your point of view in the comment section, that'd be totally awesome. So yeah, let's get started. Welcome to Up to Speed. So in our first article for the Up to Speed segment, we have an article by the Samoa Observer called Samoa to export more agriculture and fish to Pango. So basically what this article is talking about is just expanding more of our exports, majority being agriculture and fisheries, and I think a bit of livestock there, into American Samoa. Now, one of the benefits of, in my opinion, of this, especially with the Ato Samoa talks not too long ago, one of the benefits of having American Samoa as a trading partner, especially for agriculture and fisheries and livestock, is that it's really close by. Now, if you compare that to New Zealand and Australia, they're pretty far and shipping costs will be through the roof. But if you look at American Samoa, well, that's just, it's your brother, it's right next to you. So I think this is a great move by the government. And also because the currency they operate in American Samoa is in US dollars as opposed to the New Zealand dollars and Australian dollars. It just shows that you've got a higher currency right next to you in which you can do trading with as opposed to going overseas. So this hopefully, in the article it says, so the Minister of Agriculture says, this is a huge significant step in terms of working together and expanding the exportation of agriculture and fisheries to American Samoa. Um, Discussions have been made and finalized, and I understand that an official outcome should be released soon, so that's really good. The outcome of this meeting has already been signed by the Prime Minister and the Governor, so it seems like there has been some policies that have been approved. So hopefully we can see that coming to fruition pretty soon. For example, cheaper shipping costs, customs, and those kind of things for us farmers, and that'll, for me personally, that's going to be a really big help. And you never know, I might just skip exporting to skip trying to go all the way to New Zealand and Australia and just export straight to American Samoa. So if you're in American Samoa, drop a like down below because we might be seeing you guys pretty soon. The next article we've got says agriculture finds solution for feral pig problem. Now this was something that I've been keeping up to date with because, as you guys know, here at the farm, there's quite a lot of wild pigs that roam the plantation and stuff, especially the cows, the roaming cows. So it's really difficult trying to solve that problem unless we've got like traps and stuff. But we've seen, I think over the past 2 weeks, I've been following the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries page, and they've been doing some trials of a new trap system with the Scientific Research Organization of Samoa, I think, and also a company from overseas. So they've tried that, and I'll try and get some, and I'll show you guys some photos there. It was a really successful operation, and it seems like this could be a possible solution for us farmers. So something to really look forward to. But I guess another issue is trying to, if they are going to sell it to the farmers, cost might be something that will probably shy away the farmers from getting those trips. So maybe if the government could provide them or subsidize those traps for the farmers, then I think that's something to really look forward to in the coming future. So excited, really excited about that. Right, our next article says Minister says no to marijuana export. Now, this is a very delicate topic here in Samoa because over the years, we've seen a really large growth of using cannabis or marijuana as a recreational and also a medicinal drug because of the large potential it has. So here in Samoa, it's still illegal and people still, it's frowned upon. And there's the huge stigma behind cannabis here in Samoa, and but being we but we've seen the amount of money. I mean, I've seen the amount of money that people are making growing cannabis and selling it, but only for in terms of recreational. But the medicinal side of it, the therapeutic side of cannabis, is really like a large amount of money there. So hopefully in the near future, Samoa could look at it. It's something that's could really open up some new exports as well, and a new crop to grow in Samoa as well. Um, if you guys didn't know, I actually, my master's was actually specialized in cannabis. So I've got a fair bit of knowledge on how to cultivate cannabis. I actually wrote a thesis on cultivating cannabis. So I've got a really in-depth knowledge at the moment of how to grow cannabis, how to get the best strains, what do you look for in the strains, how to test it, how do you make edibles, how do you make cannabis oil. Yeah, I've got I'm able to do all of those, but as you guys know, with great power comes great responsibility, if you could say that. I don't use that. I try to stay away from using that knowledge to grow cannabis because it's illegal here in Samoa. So just trying to stay away from that, but in the event Samoa does allow it, I'll be the first one to put up my hand. But only because, like, if you take a look at, if we grow cannabis here in Samoa and market it to overseas countries, our nearest neighbors, which allow some form of legality for cannabis, would be New Zealand and Australia. And I know down in Canberra, where I was at in Australia, I think you're only allowed, I think 50 grams, or I think 25 grams of cannabis on you, and you're only allowed to grow 2 plants of cannabis. I know when I was in New Zealand, they were pushing for a bill to allow the recreational use of cannabis, but I think at the moment it's only medicinal. So the one of the benefits of growing cannabis here in Samoa will definitely be an all year round cannabis growth operations, because cannabis is a very seasonal plant, and that's why some people who grow it actually have to grow it indoors, is because they're trying to mimic the seasons, so that they can get the bud, which is that actual flowering part of the cannabis that's really potent in the active ingredients, which is THC for the high effect and CBD for the medicinal effect. But if we do it here in Samoa, we've got sunlight all year round. I think it's only the wet season or the cyclone season that we'll probably be mindful of. But I think we can produce a fair amount of cannabis if we do look into it. So it's something, hopefully we'll see the government look into in the next 20, I want to say 20 years, because, well, I don't know. We'll see what happens. I don't want to say anything, because cannabis is still a bad drug here in Samoa, but there's a lot of proper uses and medicinal purposes and therapeutic things we can use cannabis for, and which will open up a whole new level of revenue for Samoa as well, especially for farmers who actually do it. But then, if you try to implement it, it has to be in a really strict environment, because of the legality issue. So something to really look forward to, hopefully in the coming future. But if you guys want to see a more detailed analysis of what I think about cannabis here in Samoa, make sure to comment down below, and I'll do an episode specially dedicated to that. So comment down below, guys, if you want to see me do a very detailed analysis on cannabis cultivation here in Samoa. All right, and our final article for today is um, 5 farmer vehicles to be imported under new policy. So this is a very interesting one, and something that I've been waiting for a long time, because I started hearing rumors that farmers were allowed to import older cars. So the current law, I might have to check with you guys, but I think it's 10 years from 10 or 12 years from this year. So cars that are only produced 10 or 12 years, or the date, whatever that date is, you can import it into Samoa. So this year is 2023, so you can only import cars 2013 up to 2023. but you can't import cars previous to 2013. And the new policy, so we'll have a look at the policy now, because it'll actually tell us a bit more of what's going on. All right, so the article says officials have implemented a new government policy which allows farmers to import farm specific vehicles without manufacturing age restrictions and given approval for 5 trucks. The Ministry of Customs and Revenue, which gives the final approval, is implementing age and is the implementing agency of the new policy, has received more than 10 applications. All right, so a total of 5 vehicles have been given the approval under this order. So we're already moving into importing cars. We've got 5 cars coming in that have already been approved under this new policy change. So the CEO also stressed the importance of farmer keen on utilizing this policy to know that the vehicle should not be more than 20 years old. So it's actually 20 years old. The year, the limit that you can import these cars. Dr. Seu, which is the Chief Executive Officer for the Ministry of Agriculture, said they received about 20 to 30 applications from farmers expressing interest to import four-wheel drives and light truck vehicles under the new policy. He said that the process under the Ministry of Agriculture does its assessment to confirm if the application does have a plantation, if the applicant does have a plantation on or a farm, of which the supporting letter is then provided to assist in their application processes. In some cases, according to the CEO of the ministry, an assessment is not needed if the Ministry of Agriculture. In some cases, according to the CEO, an assessment is not needed if the Ministry of Agriculture is aware that the applicant owns a plantation or farm and therefore provides the support letter for their application. Pretty good. So the current law prohibits the importation of any vehicle more than 10 years old. Only vehicles that are 10 years old or less from the year of manufacture are allowed for importation into Samoa. The new policy came into effect on the 25th of August, so that's about a month now, with local car dealers prohibited, as the vehicles are not intended to be sold or rented out for commercial purposes. So this is a really great policy change by the current government, and something to be commended and applauded for, because with our current truck that we run here at the farm with Mitsubishi, some of the new technology in the truck is actually quite hard, and they're quite high cost in maintenance. So I think the policy change will really help farmers get those old reliable trucks that we know, can stand the terrain and the conditions of farming here in Samoa. So this is something I really applaud the current government for doing, and is something to really look forward to. Again, as mentioned in the article, the car dealers are restricted from importing these cars because it's to help the farmers, and if they import it and resell it, then it's just adding on to the cost. So I only want to probably further look into what will be the customs and the duty stuff. Will those fees be reduced? Just to help out the farm as well, because I know getting a car is quite difficult, but then clearing the car out of the customs and the wharf is going to be a lot more difficult. So probably something to look forward to, and probably something to look forward to myself, because I've actually got a few cars in mind now. If you guys see there, so these are some of the cars that I've been wanting to use at the plantation, only because the engines are so simple, and plus I know the track record of these cars and they're really good. So it's something to really look forward to, and hopefully we can utilize this policy sometime soon. All right, guys, so finally made it to the last segment of our podcast today, which is just a few updates of what's going on here at the farm and on our YouTube channel, and what are we doing to move forward. So first on our updates is our shirts. So we've been having a few problems, which is why we are just running a bit slow on releasing our t-shirts. Much of the problems is resulting with orders and stuff. So as you guys know, the majority of you guys watch from either New Zealand, Australia, and the USA, or not forgetting Canada and South Korea and stuff. So I'm just trying to sort out the cheapest option to get the clothes to you guys if you guys do order our shirts. So it's just trying to find strategic warehouses and printing companies that can deliver it fairly cheaply, fairly cheap for you guys. So just to so that the cost isn't too much. So I'm still working on those final stages of the T-shirt, and also just trying to get it all sorted, so that nobody experiences because in any problems, because that's the last thing we need, our problems. So again, also the majority of the t-shirt companies actually do what they do now is print on demand. So unless you place an order, and then they'll start printing the shirt and getting it delivered, but they won't print a whole bunch of shirts and then leave them in the stock for delivery. So that's one of the reasons why, if you do decide in the future to order, it will be just a slight delay. We're trying our best to target 10 working days, 7 to 10, but even then, that's too much. That's too long. So that's the problem at the moment with print on demand stuff. But trying my best to get it to you guys fairly soon. So yeah, that's a bit of an update on our t-shirts. Also, I'm also working on our website. So yeah, we're trying to get the website up and running, hopefully on the 1 year anniversary of this YouTube channel, which will be next month. And that's something I'm really looking forward to as well, because on this website you'll be able to buy on this website you'll be able to buy our merch. You'll be able to read my blogs and stuff, full detailed blogs. I will have a whole bunch of media stuff, pictures and videos of here on the farm, even like what's the word, behind the scenes things of what we behind the scenes footage and stuff, content. So we'll also have behind the scenes content of things we do here at the farm, and that's something I'm looking really forward to releasing. So again, another one of the things I'm trying to do is also, because much of this will be really really great stuff. I really want to. It'll be a subscription based type of thing for some of the content, only because there's quite a lot of value in it, and I want to share it with you guys. At the same time, just earning a bit to help run the website and stuff. So it'll be a monthly subscription to be a part of some of that behind the scenes stuff, and some stuff that I'll be sharing with you guys that won't be available to the general public. So that's something. It's mostly information, okay? It's nothing. And some of this information, some real top secret information, that'll be available for subscription and not to the general public. So it's some of the stuff I'm really working hard to get up and running, just so that we can help. So that we can get the website going, so that I can bring out a lot more information and create even better content. So it's something really looking forward to. Fingers crossed we get it up and running um, by the time we upload our next content, our next podcast. So we'll be looking forward to that. Um, some of the next update is some of our up and coming projects on the farm. So as I mentioned in the beginning of the podcast, we are planning to do a pack house, and that pack house will be funded by a project here in Samoa. So we're just ironing out some final stuff. But the main purpose of the pack house, for us, is an area where we can harvest our taro, clean them, and then pack them, because we're actually we're actually planning to move into international markets now, especially with American Samoa and Atua Samoa talks. We're just planning ahead now. And one of the other beneficial outcomes of this pack house is that we'll provide a place where farmers in our village can help come sell their taro, as opposed to selling it to the market, and they'll be able to sell at any time, any day. They will be open to receive their taro. So that's something we're working on at the moment, and hopefully in the nearby future I can get you guys on board with that. But yeah, just we are planning. We're not sure at the moment, but we might be paying a visit to American Samoa soon.
So if you're an American, if you live in American Samoa, keep an eye out on our Facebook and Instagram social media accounts. You never know, we might be there sometime before Christmas. But yeah, that's some of the upcoming projects we have lined up for the farm. Um, I guess another updates we're looking into is our podcast. So as you guys know, I really enjoy making this podcast with you guys because it's just something that's different from farming and something where I can sit down and talk with you guys and you guys give me feedback, and we can just discuss issues. So something I'm changing up hopefully in the nearby future of our podcast is having something that I've been trying to work on is having some guests over. So we can have like people in the agriculture sector, tourism sector, any sort of sector, and from different fields and backgrounds. And then we can help we can talk with our guests and discuss some issues and get their point of view. So that's something we're really looking forward to doing here on our channel, and hopefully we can get it done. So that's another thing that might be coming up, may be coming up, or will be coming up pretty soon, is having guests on our end of the month podcast. Apart from that, I guess that's about it, guys. We've got so much great episodes coming up. I've got so much great content I'm thinking about. So subscribe to our channel, share our channel, because this channel is gonna blow up pretty soon. This channel is gonna really grow very soon, and something I'm looking forward to, especially with the amount of time I'm putting into the channel and the videos and the websites, just making it all like the full package for you guys. I've got like some really good content ideas coming up soon. So make sure to tell your friends, tell your family about the channel, subscribe if they want to. We've got some great content coming up, guys, so really appreciate it. But sadly, we have come to the end of our podcast today. I really want to say thank you guys for making it this far with me. I hope you guys enjoyed today's podcast as much as I did making it. I do apologize if there were some times in the videos that the noise of the lawnmower was pretty loud or the camera wasn't too stable. It's very difficult trying to juggle everything at one time. But from the bottom of my heart, my wife, my kids, our family, our farm, we just want to say thank you guys so much for the support that has really helped our channel grow. Keep an eye out for our next and upcoming community tab, where I'll ask again you guys for questions on our next episode. But I guess that's it from us, guys. Sending my love to everyone. Thank you all for thank you all for being great and for being a great audience. Thank you for being great viewers, and thank you, really appreciate the effort you guys put into watching the videos and liking, comment, subscribing, everything, and donating for the channel as well. Not forgetting to mention the donations. Really thank you guys. So just want to end on a high note. I really appreciate everyone that watches this channel and our videos, and from the bottom of all of our hearts here on the channel, just want to say thank you so much. But yeah, that's it from us, guys. We'll definitely catch you guys on the next episode. Take care, guys. God bless, stay safe, and we'll see you guys very soon.